Hello, everybody. Gosh, it's nice to come to work and not be naked. What? Oh, no, I was not in the strict sense of the word. But last Friday, I got to work and discovered that I had forgotten a critical part of living. Now, I had my hair, my makeup, my clothes, inside and outside. Oh, I had everything except this one thing. And without it, not only I felt naked, but anybody who forgets this particular thing feels that way. Do you know what I'm talking about? 888-808-8637. No, I don't have a prize or anything, just undying gratitude. But how would you feel if you forgot your well, I have it today. Anyway, welcome to Mary Wieden You. And if you looked at my X account this morning, you'll see a picture of a bunch of snakes. And it says, Snakes Alive. And that's what we're going to talk about today with Mississippi's foremost expert on snakes. That's Terry Vandeventer. Welcome to the show. And how you doing?
I'm doing fine, Mary. Always a pleasure.
Well, we've had a big discussion this morning about hips because Terry had to have a hip replaced. And I had both of mine done because of ice skating, throwing myself around on the ice and jumping and crashing and banging and actually landing some jumps too. But you didn't do that, but you did some other things that knocked your hip out.
About 25 or 30 years of martial arts.
I didn't know that about you.
Hiking across the Amazon and mountains and swamps, all in the name of studying snakes.
Yeah. That's your thing, and I'm sure we'll see the fruits of some of your explorations. And now you've gotten a book. You're writing a book.
Wrote a book. Book is done. At least
congratulations.
As far as we're concerned, my best friend, Dr. Robert Young, went to college with him. He's a world renowned toxicologist and snake authority, and he and I embarked 30 years ago in writing a book on the snakes of Mississippi. So University Press of Mississippi is publishing the Mississippi snakes, their identification, natural history, and influence on the culture of the Magnolia State.
Influence on culture? Now that's fascinating.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about snakes chasing people or not chasing people.
Okay.
Snakes that whip you with their tails and snakes that swallow their babies and myths and legends that we hear all the time. But the majority of the book is actually about real live snakes in Mississippi.
And for the most part, I think, what's the percentage you'll know of snakes that are harmful to people as opposed to those who are not? Just benign snakes. Percentage.
As far as venomous snakes, very small.
Yes.
Mississippi is 56. Only 6 are venomous.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and snake bite in Mississippi is it barely enters the medical scene. We have about 125 snake bites a year in Mississippi, out of 300,000 people. I mean, I'm sorry, 3 million people in Mississippi. We have 125 people bitten, and nobody dies. We have no fatalities. So, there's a lot of things that will hurt you before a snake will.
Good to know. Like bears.
Well,
you might have a bear roll around your yard.
Yeah, I'd love to see a bear go through my yard.
Well, I remember you told about getting rid of snakes. You can hit them with, what's not good terminology, with
a hose. Water hose.
Yeah, water hose. Don't put it on maximum spray, but you couldn't do that to a bear.
He'd probably love it.
But you'd probably stand there and love the bath and drink the water.
Yep.
But what is the biggest and baddest snake in Mississippi?
Well, the biggest snake would be the eastern diamondback rattlesnake.
And how? Is it this? I'm holding my hands up like this. Is this big?
And a really big one the size of a normal man's forearm.
Pretty decent diameter.
Well, 3 inches in diameter maybe, and 6 feet long. Now we hear of bigger ones, and back in the day, they got to be 7 feet long. They don't get 12 feet long, like people will tell you about the one they saw crossing the road that they measured it at 12 feet, but they never took a picture of it.
No.
So, but a 6-footer is extremely rare. A 6-foot rattlesnake of any kind is exceedingly rare, and of course we know, right? All snakes are 6 feet long.
Oh, of course,
right?
And they all bite, and
all snakes are
fearing for your life.
But back in 1935, the last indigo snake was seen in Mississippi. And the indigo snake is the biggest snake in America.
Indigo snake?
Indigo snake.
It's blue, obviously.
Dark blue-black, harmless, massive, huge snake. 8 rattlesnakes, but because of the destruction of the longleaf pine ecosystem in South Mississippi, the indigo snake disappeared. It hasn't been seen since 1935.
Oh, okay.
Where they still occur, they are protected by both state and federal laws. You can't touch an indigo snake without going to jail. But in Mississippi, in this day and age, the eastern diamondback is the most massive. I consider their weight more than their length. So if you have a truly 6-foot diamondback, he weighs 11 pounds.
Well, that's a pretty good sized snake. That's bigger than your ordinary garter snake.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
By the way, as people call it, garden snake or
gardener snake. Gardener, and that's okay. Snakes have numerous common names, and I find it fascinating.
Garter snake has a regular name?
Yeah, well,
it's a scientific name.
We're talking about colloquial names. The garter snake was named by the Pilgrims, or early settlers, because they were striped and they looked like the garters that men wore that held their socks up.
Oh.
And so they were named garter snakes. Oh. But over the years, that name's been, it's kind of morphed into gardener, because where do we see them? We see them in the garden. So a cottonmouth is known as a water moccasin. He's known as a gaper, a trapjaw, a stump tail, a blunt tail, a conger. Those are all names for the very same snake.
Congers were eels.
They are, but they're also, as far as the Cajuns are concerned, it's also the cottonmouth. So those are all names for the very same snake, and that causes confusion, and that's why we have scientific names.
Well, one time years ago, I was looking out my dining room window. I may have told this on the air before, and I've got some jasmine, shortcut Asian jasmine, and I saw this little head looking up at me one day, little black head, round like my finger, and I thought, time to get some snake, whatever, bane or whatever you want to call it. And so I didn't know what to do. I called the hardware store. I said, do you have something for snakes? And they said, well, no, but if you've got some mothballs, you can put some mothballs around and that'll run them off. And so I did. I had it and I put it out. And is that a bad thing? Is that a bad thing to do?
Yeah.
Because
Mary, that's a
snake killer.
First off, contrary to what your neighbors tell you, and contrary to what
this is the hardware store.
The simple fact is, mothballs do not deter snakes. They do not repel snakes. It's something that's been around forever, and so someone, in your case, you saw a snake, you put mothballs out, then you didn't see a snake.
That's right. Never saw one. Never.
But you might not have seen one for the 30 years prior to that either. But no, they don't work. You can Google it. It's been studied extensively. Snake repellents in the form of naphthalene and sulfur and all these things that they sell in hardware stores and such, they simply don't repel snakes. And you can Google it and find out. I had a box of mothballs, and I put a mouse on one side. It was open at both ends, and I put a snake at the other side, and he crawled through the box of mothballs and ate the mouse. It's a myth. It's a legend. It doesn't work, and it's illegal. It's federally illegal to use the substance in a manner that is not prescribed in its development. It's mothballs.
Oh, the mothballs.
Plus, they're very, very dangerous. They are white and round and crystalline and sparkly, and children eat them all the time. And pets eat them all the time. Mississippi Poison Control Center can verify this. And back in the 50s, a woman put mothballs in a drawer with cloth diapers.
Oh.
And back when we had cloth diapers, and she put the cloth diapers on her baby, and the baby died.
Oh, man.
So mothballs are a big no-no. People are going to argue. They're going to tell you, I don't know what I'm talking about. But mothballs, there's nothing in the world known as a snake repellent. It just simply doesn't happen.
If you'd like to call Terry or text him, really, please call him and text him. Okay, you can call us again, 888-808-8637. That's our phone number, 888-808-8637. If you would like to text us, we are at 601-879-4395. That's 601-879-4395. And you can watch us because we live stream at supertalk.fm/Mary. And since you were here before, you have not heard this story. We are also on YouTube. The shows go on YouTube.
Okay.
I have to look up Mary Wieden You on YouTube, and and Lance sends the show over as soon as we're finished. I was looking the other day. I told that somebody said it may not show up today. Whatever it was we did the other day.
I get it done by 10:30, 10:45.
Yeah.
So whatever.
It's however YouTube does it. It's where they put stuff.
I schedule it at an exact time, but once it's available, I'm not sure how it works after all that.
I was looking. They had to look at like the second page or something like that, but it'll show up there. So that's what you can see. So if you've got questions, do ask them. What I've been wondering about is how have they done with the drought and summer heat, and especially this year. It's been hot since dirt.
Yeah, that's been of special interest to me. I don't have a real answer for that, but I do know that on my property, 7.5 acres, surrounded by 100 acres down near Terry, Mississippi, the most common snake on my property are speckled king snakes. And
which are good snakes, by the way.
People love speckled king snakes, and I would see 25 a year. When the big drought a couple summers ago, the 60-year drought that has caused the trees locally to die, we all know about that. I saw no speckled king snakes that year, and the next year I saw 2. Now this year I've seen 2 instead of 25.
Wow.
And rat snakes, chicken snakes, rat snakes.
Which are also benign.
They are our friends. I see, 15, 20 of those on the property every year. 1, 2 since then. Frogs. Our pond was deafening with 5 species of frogs. Then there were none, and now they're coming back. So but environmental changes, and take it as you will, global warming, whatever you want to call it, does affect wildlife, and so it's really hard to say. But what I've seen is at least a decline in observations, whether it's an actual decline in the snakes themselves. Maybe they're not showing themselves. Maybe they're spending more time underground where it's more moist. I don't know. But I do know that I'm not seeing what I saw before.
By the way, I'm not a global warming believer. I believe that we do have seasonal changes where it gets warm and it gets hot. We have that all the time. But this year has been particularly egregious. It seems like volcanoes and all this kind of stuff. I think the Earth is how many billions of years old, and it's always evolving and constantly evolving. And just because we're here doesn't mean it stopped and we're making it dirty. No, it didn't stop. The Earth keeps going without us. For heaven's sakes, look at how old Grand Canyon is. Back in the day, I suppose when it started, oh my goodness, you don't think anybody said the pioneers, oh no, it's going to make a mess? No, that didn't happen. Millions of years, and I just think we're in a shifting year. The Earth is shifting, and one day islands like Hawaii won't appear anymore because they'll get eaten up, or maybe they'll get bigger. But that's what I think it is.
Well, Bill Gates, who had been one of these climate types over many years, came out with a report today that was stating
really?
that, contrary to what we've been told so many things, is that mankind is destroying the world and all that. He said that's not the case, and if you believe that, then you're not going to like the memo. So that was pretty interesting with one of the great billionaires on the planet that has come out and said, hey, the Earth moves in cycles, and it's not necessarily anything that we've done to create this. Now, of course, we want to take care of our stuff better.
Well, of course, exactly.
But we're not destroying the planet as they want you to believe, and that's coming from somebody that, is hooked into the system to know.
I'm glad to hear that. I'll have to look that up later. Is it on regular?
It was on X, but I can forward it over to you.
Okay. X. Yeah, if it's on X.
77% of climate scientists would disagree with that in the world, but nonetheless,
they're making money.
It's an emotional issue, just like snakes are.
Well, but look at snakes though. I was thinking, I'm tying this into also to evolution, how they have made it through, haven't they? Snakes have made it through evolution. Not crocodiles. I don't know about crocodiles, but alligators have made it through. Sure. Roaches have made it through.
Sure.
All that kind of stuff. And so maybe the Earth is shifting, and did they either die, the snakes that didn't show up, or did they?
I don't think
they burrowed in.
I don't think any climate change denier would deny that there was an ice age.
Oh, yeah.
We had an ice age for sure.
Oh, yeah. We're supposed to be having another one, remember? There was supposed to be another one a few years ago, and it didn't happen. But, they can't, listen, if they can't predict the weather for tomorrow, what do you think, Yeah.
But it's, like I say, it's there's few things more emotional than snakes. People, they love them or they hate them. They're afraid of them or they're drawn to them, so it's both ways. And we used to think that the fear of snakes was something that was taught from parents to children, ooh, get away, get away. we're beginning to look at that differently now, and
How?
we realize that little children see snakes more quickly than adults do, and studies where they've put a huge image up on a wall of funny little bunny rabbits and bluebirds singing in the sun with a smile on his face, and kittens and puppies and flowers, but mixed in there somewhere under a leaf is a snake. And little children will see it instantly.
Isn't that interesting?
Whereas the adults don't. So it's something that no doubt goes way, way back. And in my 45 years of doing programs to schools, I've seen tiny children who hadn't begun to talk yet, and at the sight of a 12-inch long scarlet king snake, beautiful red and yellow, vibrant colors, go out of their minds in a panic to get to their parents over the sight of something that looks like a candy stick. Yeah, a lot of people are very afraid of snakes, and it might not be their fault or anybody's fault. It's just that back, hundreds of thousands of years ago, and you came out of a cave in France and you're walking along and there's a colorful stick at the edge of the trail, and it's got beautiful colors of lichens and moss and and as you walk by, that stick scratches you, like sticks do.
Yeah.
But then swelling and pain and vomiting of blood and maybe, and those people that lived in caves, they knew what death looked like. A cave bear, they knew what death looked like. But a little twig? So there's probably something that says, don't pick that snake up.
Ooh, all right, we'll close out on that segment.
Yeah.
We're going to come back with, we're going to continue on the show with Terry Vandeventer. Communicate with us. What do y'all think about snakes? What do you want to know about snakes? Don't be afraid. It's Halloween week.
Oh, no.
We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. 2. Ooh, he's got 2 of something. But look at this, everybody. Doesn't this look like shoes? Does it look like little shoes? And the back side is filled in, and the front side has got holes in it. It's like, what is that, Lance? Do you know what it is?
Snake eggs.
Well, how do you know that? It is snake eggs.
I grew up in the woods.
Well, I did too, but I didn't see any. I mean,
love alligator
Northwoods.
eggs. Alligator eggs are always fun.
How
Snake
big are
eggs.
they?
They're a little
Bigger than that.
Yeah. They're more
Okay.
round, yeah.
Well, what are these? Terry Vandeventer, our snake expert extraordinaire of Mississippi, the herpetologist. You're like the state herpetologist if we had one.
Well, we do have a state herpetologist.
Oh, we do?
Yeah.
It's not you. It should
so
be.
It's the national. Well, I know a little bit about snakes.
I think you do.
Those are hatched pine snake eggs. And a pine snake is a large, harmless snake found in the eastern United States. But you can see that aside from the big holes, there's lots of little slits. Mm-hmm. And
Yes.
the baby snakes have an egg tooth that's razor sharp, and they slice the egg open just like a knife, and they stick their head out and they see the world for the first time.
What, did you ever see any of these, Lance? You're nodding your head like
I've never seen any of them do what he just said. I've seen them whole and I've seen them hatch, but I've never watched one come out of an egg.
What color are they when they? Do they stay this? What color were they?
The eggs are off-white,
Oh, they
like
are.
that.
Oh,
They're
they
not
are.
snow white, but they're off-white,
And-
and they have different textures. Some snakes have kind of a salty sandpaper texture, and some snake eggs adhere to each other like these, and other ones don't.
What sticks them together? You didn't put anything on to
Well,
hold them together.
I'm sure no.
No, there's no super glue. Or anything.
No, but when they're laid, they're wet. They have mucus on them, and as they dry, they stick together. Whereas a rat snake, her eggs don't stick together. They stay loose the whole time. Yeah.
And did they change colors or whatever?
Yeah,
No.
they get bigger. That's an interesting thing. Is the
eggs get-
snake will get the egg will get 30% larger because the shell is flexible. Now, right now, the shell is kind of like parchment, and it's
it's all
kind of hard and crinkly.
Yes.
But when they're born, and I mean when they're laid, right up to the day of hatching, you can squeeze them. They're squeezy and soft, and they're like a water balloon filled with water.
Fascinating.
And they grow. That's a bird egg doesn't grow.
How far below the earth or whatever? If you have one of these in your yard, would they be like inches below?
Well,
or
some
would they
snakes will lay them under the soil, a few inches. They need moisture, and they can dry up and die. They need moisture. Other snakes use rotten logs. They go inside a rotten log. On the Great Plains, snakes used buffalo chips, and now cow pies.
Yes,
because it's warm. There's bacterial action, makes them warm. And it's moist, and they hatch out just as nice as can be.
Well, they've been fertilized, actually.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. So,
in vernacular terms.
But they need moisture and correct temperature, and of course air supply. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So come on, let's hear from you. 888-808-8637, 601.
Quick question after you say that. Yeah.
879-4395, 601-879-4395, and that is on the that's on the banner of
yes, it is.
Of our anyway.
One question for you, sir, is I've always heard that there is a the urban legend is however many rattles are on a rattlesnake, that's how many years old. Could you explain the actual layout? And
sure,
I'd appreciate that.
Cool.
I kind of. Tongue-in-cheek and kind of seriously at the same time, someone says, I killed a rattler. He had 14 rattles and a button. Well, a rattlesnake only has one rattle. Because they kind of like what you just said there was each segment is not a rattle. It's a segment or a ring or whatever you want to call it. But when a baby snake is born, he has one little roundish button, and he can't make a sound. He can shake his tail forever and can't make a sound. A couple months later, he sheds his skin and he gets another segment. Now he's got the original button and one segment, and he can make a little sound. And then a few months later, he sheds his skin again. And so each time they shed their skin 3 to 4 times a year, they get a ring or a segment. Now, the button is not necessarily the piece at the very end, because the rattle breaks off constantly. So the actual button itself is usually lost in a year or two. So if you find a snake that has multiple segments and the original button, count them and divide by 4.
Okay.
And you should be able to tell how old it is. Many people believe that you just count them and each one's a year, and that's not the case.
Not a tree.
So, yeah. So, but very rarely is the button ever the actual button, and it looks different, and it's usually not there. So.
Well, how do you derattle a rattlesnake?
Derattle one?
Well, yeah, they talk about, this snake's been derattled, that's not
Do you
really
mean defanged?
Yeah, maybe that's it. I thought they wouldn't rattle anymore.
The rattle is made of keratin, the same thing your fingernails are made of. And if you don't trim your fingernails, you're going to tear one off.
Oh,
it's going to break off. And it's the same thing with the rattle. Each segment is hollow. There's no little bead inside like a baby rattle. And but each segment interlocks with the next one, and it interlocks with the next one, and they're dry, and they rasp against each other. When he shakes his tail, they click against each other, and the rattlesnakes rattle. I'm sorry, the muscles, which scientifically are called shaker muscles.
Imagine that.
Believe it or not, that's the name. They move at the speed of a hummingbird's wings.
Ooh.
So I could have brought you a rattle today.
I'm certainly glad you did.
Well, no, I could have brought you a rattle, and you could shake it with your hand, but you can never make it sound like a rattlesnake.
Well, if you want to have a rattlesnake as a pet, you would defang it or give it venom or what? I mean, that's if you're weird enough to want that, but
no,
you never know.
We don't do that. No zoo or anything does that. But the venom is 2 glands under the eye, not in the back of the head. People say, look at that big old fat triangular-shaped head, then big old... No, that's not the venom glands. The venom glands are under the eye, and muscles contract, and they shoot the venom through a duct, and they come out a fang, like a hypodermic needle. And they use that for killing rodents that they eat.
Got a good question for you. My pa keeps cats around his place to keep snakes away. Those that venture onto the property are likely to get eaten by the cats. Repellent? Ha. So there's
Well, cats eat snakes. but they eat everything else too. And they're biohazards to let run loose. You're getting into a part of me that's very passionate. In Australia, any cat seen outside is shot on sight by federal law because they are so harmful. They destroy millions and millions of songbirds, millions of small animals like lizards and frogs and things like that. A house cat is a house cat and should be kept in the house.
There you go.
There you go. Now, that's my opinion based on fact, not on emotion. And yes, cats are very dangerous outside, but they do kill snakes.
I would think, I think of cats as mice killers.
They kill
like if you have a
everything.
horse barn or something, they can eat mice all the day long.
And how many people have had a cat bring their trophy up and set it down on the porch? Because
Really?
they don't eat them, because you feed them, they simply kill wildlife.
My Jack Russells have eaten things. My first one, she killed a mouse. We took her up north. We were up north, and Bert said, "Oh, she killed a mouse outside over here by the hotel." So I went out. And I said, "Oh, show me your mouse." And she picked it up and clunked. She ate it. The other one,
Weren't Jack Russell's ratters? Wasn't
yes,
that
they
what
are.
were bred
Yeah,
for?
they're ratters. Then the other one, gosh, a couple summers ago, the girl who just died in July, she ate 5 fledgling birds, and it was late summer. I don't know what kind of birds they were, but I never saw her jump up in the air to catch them.
Yeah.
But I mean, I saw the
Hawk
evidence.
caught his first possum the other day.
He did.
He did.
Did he eat him?
No, he slung him around and threw him up against the wall and thought he had killed him, and the thing was laying there smiling at him playing possum.
Why they call him
So
possum.
I put him back inside for a minute, and as soon as I walked back out, the possum had
get rid of
scooted
him.
off.
Yes.
But the possum thinks they're friends, I believe. He keeps coming back. And Hawk was so disappointed when he went out there and the possum wasn't there. I said, "Son, that's called playing possum right there."
Yeah, there you go.
He did the best job I've ever seen. The
Well,
possum did.
the other Heidi also we had 2 Heidis. The first one, she also she caught, killed, and ate a squirrel. And as she was crossing the driveway, I'm going, "Wouldn't you rather have a dingo?" And she's eating this thing up. Well, I had never seen. You have to check the remnants the next day. You got to check their poop to find out what's in. I mean, that's how they do. And because I suppose cats have this too. They have intricate systems of enzymes. There was no evidence that she'd eat anything that had fur on it or teeth or anything like that. No evidence, because the enzymes took care of that. And then the one who killed this Heidi who died this summer, the one who killed the 5 birds, never saw anything that resembled a foot or a beak or anything like that, because the enzymes again. So
Well, look at snakes.
what
Snakes
do they do?
are purely predators. There's no
Just
snake
what they
that
are.
ever ate a salad. They are only, and there are scavenger snakes as well, but the digestive enzymes in their system dissolve everything. They eat animals whole.
Right.
They don't
Yes.
chew their food; they swallow it whole. And the only thing they don't digest are hair, feathers, and teeth. And everything else is rendered totally very, very efficient.
Do they have Do they have expel? Do they have a rectum? I guess
Sure,
they have that.
sure. They have a complete digestive system, all the way from
Liquid and solid?
left to right. They do not urinate.
Oh.
They pass what looks like white gelatinous uric acid. Now, here's the story. My urologist that I've had a relationship for 25 years. He retired, but he grew up in India, and he always went to the snake parks in India where they extracted venom. And he so much wanted to come see the snakes I have. And we never could work it out. And then out of the blue, he calls me, and I said, "Come on over." Well, one of my snakes had pooped.
Does it look like?
It looks like bird almost. The solid material is fecal material, and the white there, it says black and white. The white is uric acid. So my urologist comes over, and I said, "Dr. Golonikar." Oh, I should say.
That's okay.
But I said, "Look at that," and he looked, and he said, "That's snake poop." And I said, "It is." and I said, "What is the white part?" And he looked at me, and he said, "Is that uric acid?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "So snakes don't pee." And he was thrilled. And actually, in our book that we mentioned
were talking about that. Yeah.
a moment ago, we have a picture of snake poop.
Okay.
And we don't know that it's ever been done before in any book. But people contact me all the time, and they say, "I think I have a snake in my garage." And I go, "How do you know?" "Well, I saw poop." And I go, "Well, what does it look like?" And I think it's snake poop. Well, we put a picture in there So you'll know what
it
snake
looks
poop
like.
looks like in Mississippi.
Well, is it as big around as my little finger?
It depends on the size of the snake. Yeah, it sure does. Sure does. But it really the thing it most resembles is bird. Reptiles and birds might be the same thing anyway. So they're very close if they're not the same thing. So
yes, they are, aren't they?
Yeah.
Which one came first? Oh, the snake came first, and then it morphed.
Reptiles.
Reptiles were first, and then they morphed into.
Yeah, and my 7 3/4-year-old grandson, who is a self-proclaimed zoologist and paleontologist, and who can name 100 dinosaurs and miss only 2, and can pronounce them all instantly. He'll tell you, look at a T-Rex's foot and look at a chicken's foot. They're
Wow.
exactly the same.
Come back for our final segment. Time's a flying. It's Mary Wieden You, and I got Terry Vandeventer here. Don't go away. Well, that whole business about eating the squirrel and all that, eating the birds, that's nature, and that is the dog's instinct. I would never interfere with instinct, you wouldn't do that. Well, it depends. But actually, our first Heidi, my little Jack Russells are named after my first Heidi, who was the German short-haired pointer from Germany, whose registered name was Dagmar von der Volkerstadt. And my parents said, we're not calling our dog Dagmar. We could call her Heidi. Yeah. But
if I see a king snake crossing my yard, and a red-tailed hawk comes down and grabs him, I don't go separate them.
No.
I mean but
it's nature.
I don't separate them. Yet someone the other day showed me a picture of a water snake eating a fish, and they went in and they separated them, and let them go their separate ways. Well, that snake may not get a meal now for another 6 weeks or something. So,
yeah.
But speaking of king snakes,
ta-da! Oh. Now, speaking of, yes, we're going to show you something. You ready, Lance? You got that camera? Where should he put it where you can get a good shot of it?
Well, for him, just keep it right there in front of him, and then I'll zoom in.
He's got it. Okay, he's got it in his
just
hand.
stay right there.
There he is.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. King. That's a king.
This is a speckled king snake.
You brought a speckled one before that was black and red spots.
No, black.
What was
black
that?
and well,
I don't know what that was.
but king snakes have whiter yellowish speckles on them.
Is this a young snake?
It's mature, but not fully grown. They can get 4.5 feet long. This one's 3 feet long, I think. And but many people say, well, the king snake, he's the good snake. He kills the bad snakes. Well, there are no bad snakes. I mean,
a rattlesnake.
Well,
isn't
no,
a pleasant one.
he's not a bad snake at all. He doesn't do anything. He doesn't do anything bad at all. Sometimes people get bit by him.
Because they messed with him, right?
But many more people are killed by dogs in America than by snakes. I mean, 4 people a year die of snake bite in America, and the chances of you having a soft drink machine fall on you are tremendously greater.
Yes.
Tremendously. But snakes don't attack people, and they don't chase people or anything. But the king snake, because he has this affinity for eating other snakes, and Grandpa told us about seeing a king snake eating a copperhead or something.
Ooh.
Well, then we remember that.
Yeah.
And anytime I show a king snake, people say, "Oh, that's the good one. That's the good one. We love king snakes," and they say that all the time. They're easy to identify. No other snake looks like them in Mississippi.
Speckles.
And speckles all over them. Salt and pepper snake is another name.
Nice.
Guinea snake, because guinea hens have speckles. But generally just king snake is what people call them. And they do eat other snakes. And they are immune to the bites of venomous snakes, too.
And they're so pretty, too. Goodness. What a pretty snake.
Thank you. They
he
are.
moves around. He's wanting to put his head out. Is he constantly hunting? Is that what he's doing?
No, he's just exploring. His tongue's coming out. He's picking up molecules, smells out of the air. And no doubt he knows me.
He's like a puppy.
I take
He's
care
like
of him.
They want to play.
Yeah, and he's just exploring everything. He's smelling the air. He's smelling the surface, smelling my hands.
What does he eat? You feed him. You feed him?
Well, these mice at my house, which is his major diet. But in the wild, he eats snakes, mice, lizards, voles, things like that. Moles, when they get bigger, they'll eat moles, and things like that. So they're kind of, they eat almost anything. Some snakes are generalists, like this one, and other snakes are specialists. Like the little hognose snake eats one thing, eats toads.
Oh.
And he doesn't eat frogs very often. He eats toads. And someone has to eat toads, or we'd have a plague of biblical plague of toads. So it's all a balance there. Now people say, where can I get a king snake to put on my property to get rid of all the bad snakes? Well, you can't. First off, it's illegal to do.
It's illegal to sell any kind of snakes?
You can't deal in native species in Mississippi. You can't monetarily deal in them. You can't sell them. But by bringing one to your property does nothing, because your property has a carrying capacity. It can only support so much. And so you already have king snakes there, and you already have copperheads there. They're just everywhere. You bring another king snake in, well, he's either going to go away, or he's going to get beat up by another king snake, or he's going to die, or something. So it does no good to try. And there are other snakes that eat snakes. Many snakes eat.
We have them all in our yards. We got all stuff like this that we never see. I never see them.
Yeah,
and I live at the reservoir. I don't see them.
And one snake fits inside very neatly. So a snake meal is a good thing for a snake. There's plenty of room
lots of room
for a long, skinny snake to go in there. So black runners, coach whip snakes, king snakes, cottonmouths, the venomous cottonmouth, big time snake eater. Eats lots of snakes. So many snakes eat snakes. But the king snake, because of his name, because of his easy to identify, he gets all the credit. So
do you name your snakes? And
I've called them names before
that you can't say on the radio. No, are they trainable? We're thinking about those things supposedly from India where they blow on the flute and snakes. What is all that?
Oh, that's
vipers,
charlatanism. The cobra can't hear, but he comes out of the basket and he hoods up and he faces the guy.
Right.
And as the guy moves back and forth, the snake has to move back and forth to aim his strike. And they sew their mouths shut and things like that. It's very, very nasty.
But you don't name them. You don't have to, I guess.
No, you have to have a grandson to name them.
Oh, well. Okay.
You've got Squeezy and Squeezer, right? You've got Kingy and Queenie. Yeah, you have to have a grandson to name the snakes. So I can never remember them. He has to remind me which one's which.
Well, where is this dude going to go? Is that a male or female?
This one's a female.
And how do you know the difference?
You couldn't tell?
No, I know.
Males and females generally do not have outward differences like birds. Like a male cardinal and a female cardinal. You can tell the difference.
Right, because of the feathers. That's it, though.
But males tend to have longer, less tapering tails, and females have shorter, more rapidly tapering tails. And for those of you who are interested, males have two.
Oh, okay. And the female has one place that the eggs come out.
And where mating takes place. Right.
But did you actually mate?
Yeah. There's male snakes and female snakes. And now I'm going to go back. Males have two. Okay. So and they can use, it's called a hemipenis, and they can use either one when they want to. Now, here's another snake that's found in Mississippi, which is one of the most beautiful. This may have been the one you were thinking of, the corn snake with the red blotches down the back.
Yeah, they're good. They're good snakes too, aren't they, corns?
Oh yeah, and every young child knows they have a piano keys underneath.
Oh,
so or a checkerboard, whichever. Another harmless snake related to they're in the rat snake family. Good name, and. You would think that these would be easy to see in the woods, but you put them in red pine straw and fall leaves and they disappear. And that's how snakes defend themselves: camouflage and lying still. Lying still. If a snake bites you, he's drawn attention to himself. If he gets up and moves around, he draws attention to himself. I've encountered over 2,000 rattlesnakes in the wild.
Wow.
And I've had 18 rattle at me.
Here's
out
a question.
Of 2,000.
Listener question: what do you feed your snakes, and how often?
They eat laboratory rats and mice, white mice, white rats that I raise, and they get fed about approximately once a week, depending on age and size and species, that kind of thing.
But like we were saying, if they're out in the wild, then there's a whole bunch of stuff. They'll take care of themselves.
Oh, sure,
but,
sure.
But they. Yeah. And did you say this? Was it on the air, or was it in between a break about how they know when it's feeding time?
Oh yeah. Well, they become conditioned. Can you train a snake? Well, this snake's not biting me, is he?
No, but that's not his nature.
Yeah, well, if I'd picked him up in my yard, he doesn't know who I am. I'm big and scary, and I'm a predator. And if I picked him up, he might bite me. But then would stop. I'm not hurting him or anything. And gosh, these corn snakes have been held by thousands of children over the years. But if I were to pinch his tail,
ooh, you wouldn't like that.
Yeah, just like a kitten. If I pinch his tail, he's going to bite me.
Sure.
But snakes don't attack people, and they don't chase people, and they don't go. Snakes don't hate human beings. They don't hate people. Snakes don't know what we are. A snake in the woods, a person walks up, that snake's never seen a person before. And someone says, well, I better kill that snake because the next time it might be a child come. No, that snake will never do anything. He'll never see another human being. And the vast majority of snake bites in America happen on adult men, 18 to 35, who are in the process of killing a snake. They're trying to kill a snake and they get bit.
Do they have a pretty good brain, a decent brain?
Well, it serves them well.
Instinct. Well,
it
it's an
serves
instinct,
them well.
but I mean, they've lasted. Like how many millions of years old would you say these cats are?
170,
I mean,
170 million years. Yeah, they've been around a long time.
They made it. Yeah,
and they are. They're, like I said before, they're much smarter and more sophisticated than
we think. But I mean, we know that they're hungry, so we know that. They have that instinct.
They recognize relatives, so they don't interbreed. And rattlesnakes, for example, will mate in the fall near an old stump or something. The female will go down into a hole and spend the winter.
Just we got just half a minute left, just about, because I want to ask you, what are these guys going to do in the wintertime? Well, here comes the music. What are they going to do in the wintertime?
They'll hibernate. They'll go underground and hibernate, even in Mississippi.
Well, they will do that. Okay.
But they'll come out any time of the year when it's warm.
Because Anatoly's, I've found out from our Ken Hackman, Ken comes on the show. They'll go in little holes in bricks. They'll hide out. And he says they'll be in your house, but they won't be coming through the door. But these guys will be below the earth, hiding out.
Yeah, but in Mississippi, 12 months of the year, you can see a snake.
Terry Vandeventer, thanks so much. See you all on Friday, Halloween.